What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 8 of 94 Feet, where KP and Tim go into what's going on in the hoops world. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about these games that I was totally wrong about.
It's been an interesting first couple of games of the first round. We got it all here today, but of course we're going to start with our question of the day. This early, who has your upset alert? Upset alert. A lot of people are probably going to pick those Lakers for upset alert, but we shall
not.
see.
You have no basketball sense. Go ahead.
Awesome. We'll answer it, I'm sure, throughout the different games we play. But first, overall topic here. Who had the worst game one loss? Both MVP choices lost game one of their series. You have the Bucks going down to Orlando, and we have the Lakers going down to the Trailblazers. Who do you have as the worst loss there, KP?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. The Bucks clearly had the worst loss. They lost to the Magic. The Magic are the Magic. I mean, I don't even know why this is a discussion. It really shouldn't have been even a topic on here, but we have to talk about it. It's fine. I mean, the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? We'll get into this a little bit more, but there's no way the Lakers have another performance. They're going to play tonight a little bit after we get done recording. So I got the Bucks as the worst loss. I mean, they made up for it tonight. That was a very impressive second effort. Who do you think?
I agree with you. It's clearly the Bucks that had the worst loss, but they're going to win their series going away.
Oh, yeah.
They'll win 4 straight, and they will turn it into a 4-1 series win, and everybody will forget that the Bucks lost to the Magic.
Don't forget.
The Lakers, on the other hand, are in a dogfight, and I'm here for it.
Oh, gosh.
They are in a dogfight, and now we're about to hop into this Lakers versus Portland series. Give me your thoughts after just one game, and where are we at right now in your mind in this series?
Okay, first of all, I said 4-1. It's going to be 4-1. And here's why, okay? For one, the Lakers haven't played, at that point, they hadn't played in a week, okay? So they're going to be off anyway. They don't have a true point guard because Rajon Rondo is still out. Avery Bradley didn't come to the bubble. For whatever reason, KCP played 29 minutes. I don't know. Frank Vogel, you need to either be fired, quit your job. I'll take your job. I don't know. There's no way that dude can play 29 minutes, go 0 for 10, and, whatever. And the other thing was that LeBron, triple-double, most assists he's had in a playoff series, playoff game. Like that right there should get you a win. But with all that being said, they lost by 7. Nurkic got a bogus dunk at the end. They lost by 5, like if you really think about it, like with all the, whatever. I'm not typically worried. I'm not very worried at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see. Snoop Dogg had some not safe for work comments about Danny Green and KCP missing all these threes. I won't say it on there, but basically what he says is they need to shoot 1,000 jump shots and they need to make about 800 if they want to have a contract next year. And then I also saw something where it was like somebody needs to arrest Danny Green because he stole $30 million, and even if he shoots at you, he'll probably miss.
All right, so that's funny, but. Right now, the Lakers are they're in an interesting spot. Now, you're right, LeBron did have a great game. 23, 17, and 16. You'd like to see more points on the board out of the superstar. 23 is a little low, but you make up for it when you have 16 assists. That accounts for, at minimum, 32 points. I mean, that's big time. So, and Anthony Davis also had 28, but he also went 0 for 5 from 3. So, the big two for the Lakers, I believe, did enough that they could have won this game. Clearly, it's the supporting cast that lost them this game. You mentioned KCP going 0 for 9 from the court, up from the field, and 0 for 5 from 3. They went 5 for 32 as a team, which with LeBron and AD, they need to be able to kick it out every so often to get those threes. They have to do that. But
how do you have Deion Waiters on your bench, plays 1 minute, and is a scoring threat at any time he's been in the league? He's always been a scoring threat. He gets 1 minute at the end of the second quarter. Like Frank Vogel, do you want your job?
Do you want your job?
It's not hard. It's really not hard.
Fair enough. And then also, I mean, yeah, Howard and McGee only played 15 and 13 minutes, so there's no chance for them to get into any sort of rhythm. I don't think McGee needs to play anymore, but Howard could see a few more minutes.
Howard was in foul trouble too. He ended with 5 fouls.
Yeah, he ended up with 5 fouls. That's true too. So that could make a big difference later if you got Howard on the court more. But right now, the Trailblazers are on a path to try to make some noise. But I do have Lakers in 6, so I knew that the Blazers will at least win 2 games. So I think they will win another game. I don't think they're going to get swept. I think they're too good to lose 4 in a row. But I do think that the Lakers are going to be good enough to win this series. But right now, LeBron's going to have to score more than 23, which he will. Anthony Davis scoring 28 is fine. He'll make, and also the Lakers are going to have games where they make more shots. 5 for 32 is not going to continue to happen.
I'm just going to put this out there. If the Blazers win the next 2 games, Lakers in 7. Just so everyone knows. I don't care.
I will put this out there. Neither of these teams will lose 4 in a row. Neither of these teams will lose 4 in a row. I promise you that. That will not happen. But Dame is also not going to get swept.
The Suns won't go 8-0 either. I
didn't say they wouldn't go 8-0. I mean, I said they wouldn't go 8-0, but still. And because you were like, they're going 8-0 for sure. You were on the bandwagon.
I said they had a chance.
Yeah, I said they had no chance, which they didn't have a chance. They went 8-0 and they still didn't get it. Like I said, I digress. Okay, so but right now, Dame is playing on another level. He can shoot from anywhere. They call him Logo Dame or Logo Lillard. I don't know which one it is, but Logo Lillard, he can shoot from anywhere on the court, and he will not lose 4 in a row. He is on another, especially not with the team around him. The team around him is good. They have a fantastic 8-player unit. Gary Trent didn't even have that great of a game last game, and he could do a lot more. He only had 5 points, shooting 1 for 4 from three-point land, and it was a big 3. It was in the fourth quarter that he made that 3, which I think was in the last 3 minutes. So It was a big 3 that he made, but I think you could even get more production out of him. Carmelo only having 11. He was shooting 3 from 11 from the field as well. And McCollum, 8 for 20, 3 for 8 with 21 points. That's pretty decent, I guess. It's not, but you can see.
I'll be interested in McCollum because McCollum has a back injury right now, and he's has a broken bone in his back. That's one hard fall, and you might be out the rest of the series also.
Which would be big.
Yeah, that would be huge. I think he's a piece. Obviously, Damian Lillard, he's got to show up and plays. He's going to give you his numbers no matter what. He's healthy and everything like that. But barring an injury to C.J. McCollum, that might be a huge story flip in this series too.
Right.
Obviously, hopefully nothing like that happens. I don't want anything like that to happen.
No, definitely not.
So.
But if this series does go to a Game 7, the Trailblazers have a legit chance of taking it. There's even an argument that they're the better all-around team. Obviously, the LeBron and Anthony Davis are better than any 2 that you want to get from the Blazers. But the rest of their team is better than the Lakers. And they didn't even have Zach Collins, their 3rd big man, play last night. It was last night. No, 2 nights ago. And I don't know if he's scheduled to play this tonight or not. I didn't look that up. But they don't have even one of their better players playing right now. And so they also have a chance to elevate. The Lakers they have nowhere to go but up. This game was one of the worst that they could have played. So they're going to go up. But the Blazers have plenty more in the tank to go up as well. They only scored 100 points in the game. I think in the bubble they were averaging 115 or something like that. Their bubble numbers were huge. So anything could happen in this series. Lakers are definitely on upset watch. I don't have them, but they're on the watch. They're not going to win this series 4-1. I promise you that. I have Lakers in 6. With it could go 7, but I do have Lakers winning this series.
If they win the series in 6, they win the series. I don't care. I'm going 4-1. 4-1's what I said before, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not gonna fall.
Fair enough. Another team on upset alert are these Clippers. This Clippers Mavs series is very interesting. Luka has gone off. He scored 70 points in his first 2 playoff appearances, 42 in his playoff debut. How do you feel about this Mavs Clippers series?
Man, I'm just gonna put it out there. You can Luka is gonna give you what Luka gives you. Luka is great. I love Luka. Luka is he was my pick for MVP of the bubble, the seeding games. But I'm watching these games, and I think Kristaps Porzingis is the guy to look at. They were up by 6 in that first game, and they were in control when he was on the court. He got his second technical. both of which were kind of it. The first one was definitely not warranted at all, but the second one is definitely iffy. Okay, and they went from up 6 to losing by 8, a 14-point swing, and I mean, without him getting kicked out, without him getting ejected, this is a 2-0 lead for the Mavericks. The Clippers got to be real careful.
I'm not going to go as far as saying it's a 2-0 lead, but he definitely would have made a difference down the stretch. I think the Clippers could have pulled that out. The Clippers could have pulled this last game out if there was a couple of interesting calls towards the end that could have made basically halted their comeback that they were trying to come on. But I agree, Kristaps is a beast, and he's shooting fantastic. He's right there.
Yeah.
Now, the first technical, I agree, absolutely outlandish. It was a foul on him. There was a foul on that play. He was very upset about the foul. He clearly hit all arm on the dude going into dunk. Their arms collided. Like, it was a clear foul on there. So I understand that he was upset because he thought he got all ball and everything like that. But still, it should not have been a technical. I mean, he got emotional. Oh well. So what? Like, we're really trying to hide every emotion right now. But
right.
The second one, I mean, you have to give double technical. They're pushing each other. He's come in. I know he's defending his teammate, but you still can't have two guys, players coming in and start pushing each other and mouthing off to each other. The second one was warranted, but the first one, agreed, was not warranted at all. So in the second game, he also, 7 for 13, over 50% from the floor, 3 for 4 on 3-point land, 23 points. Yeah, no, he's a big key in this. And also who was a big key in this last game was Seth Curry in that second half. Yep. Halting that comeback in the early in the fourth quarter, all Seth Curry. I think he made 4 shots in a row for him, including a 3. So it was 9 points straight out of Seth Curry. He was the one that halted that Clippers comeback because the Clippers were scoring, and then Seth was answering every single time down court. He was plus 30 on the plus minus in this past game.
Yeah,
and
that's insane.
Yeah, he was a huge reason why this win. And down the stretch, Doncic already had done a lot of his damage. He didn't do much in that fourth quarter that I remember. I watched the end of that game. Yeah. It was a lot of support players. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a bunch of drives to the lane to try to halt that. Because also, Doncic had 5 fouls, so they took him out a lot of that fourth quarter.
He didn't play a lot of the third quarter. He didn't play a lot of the fourth quarter. That was
early in the fourth quarter. Over halfway, I think it took over halfway before I think he finally came in towards the end of the game to finish it. And those support players were huge of halting that comeback, and which is why, and now switching over to the Clippers. The Clippers lost this game because Paul George could not hit the broadside of a barn. 2 for 10 from 3-point land, 4 for 17 from the field. And he actually did hit a big shot with I think it was 2.5 minutes to go, and would have brought the game within 7, very reachable. And then there was this weird play where, it was Montrezl Harrell was setting a pick for him. And the guy was kind of moving, and he just moved. And the guy went this way to go around and then came back. Harrell was looking this way and moved. And he ends up getting called for the moving pick charge, which it was a very weird dynamic play.
Iffy call.
Yeah. And of course, I think it was Hardaway that was guarding, sold it. Mm-hmm. Went flying. I mean, it looked realistic because Montrezl Harrell is twice the size of him, it felt like. So, but that could have been a big difference with Paul George. But Paul George scoring 14 points on 17 shots is not going to happen again in this series. I still have the Clippers. I had the Clippers in 5. Was right there. So I did have Doncic stealing a game. And this was a great game for them to steal. So I think the Clippers are just too good to lose this series, but I do like what the Mavericks are attempting to do. I like the supporting cast for the Mavericks, and I'm right there. I'm still okay with it might be more realistic now to say the Clippers in 6, but Doncic and them could steal another one. But I'm still okay with my Clippers in 5. I think they're good enough to continue to hold off this team, and I'm looking forward to it.
Your Clippers now? You said my Clippers?
Well, it's my Clippers this year as far as that's who I'm picking to win. It's my Wizards. I'm a Wizards fan, even though we stink. No,
it's fine. You can pick whatever team you want, whatever year you want. It's fine.
All right, Mr. Kenyon. All right, Mr. Kenyon Martin jersey. All right.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get there.
Before we get there, though, next one, but the one we're going to talk about right now is this Rockets Thunder series, which is very interesting for you because you picked the Thunder at 7 without Russell Westbrook. And how are you feeling about that now?
I feel awful. I feel like the team we saw in the bubble, or the team we saw in the seeding games, and the team we have now are complete opposites. Like the intensity they were playing with, the extra effort on defense, the knockdown shot ability, the offensive rebound. Like on paper, they were doing a lot of things right against the Rockets. Like when we went through the stats before the show, they had a lot of things right. They were winning. I think it was
I think they were winning basically everything but assists and turnovers.
Right, like they
the
were
rest of
winning
their
battle. Yeah. They were winning. They didn't win the offensive rebound battle, but they won the rebound battle total. I mean, that could also be accredited to how many shots the Rockets shoot. But like, I can't figure them out anymore, man. Like, I guess their guys are nervous, or maybe there's just the Rockets are more intense right now because they know they have to play harder without Russell. I'm 100% wrong on this. I'm gonna back off. I mean, the Rockets are gonna sweep them. I don't see how they're not. They're playing so well. They're scoring, and even James Harden. James Harden didn't score today,
I know.
And they won. Like, go ahead.
I'm not going to back off of that yet. Okay, I still think this will be a longer series. You could go back to, I think it was the Spurs versus Heat championship where every game was won by 15. It seemed like they figured every single game out, that it was like Spurs won 2 in a row by 20 each, and then all of a sudden the Heat were winning by 20 each. Anything can happen in these series, game by game. But right now, I think the big problem with the Thunder is they do not have a scoring big man to punish the small ball lineup coming from the Rockets. They have nobody to go inside. Steven Adams is only a 10 points per game scorer, and he was 4 for 4. That's great. He needs some more feels, but as you said, he had 3 offensive rebounds and tip-ins basically. Like they're not. Yeah. He is not a guy that is going to take it down low. Yes, you have why is his name just Danilo Gallinari. He's a big dude, 6'10", but he plays more like a shooting guard almost. Like he's like he plays like an outside dude. He's just a tall character that's, you know, like he's a shooting guard built in a power forward body. And so he shoots from deep a lot. He shoots jumpers a lot. So he's, again, not a guy that... So basically right now the Thunder are trying to play the Rockets game, and nobody beats the Rockets at the Rockets game. That's why we call it the Rockets game, right? Like
small ball, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, shooting the ball a lot. They shot over 50 3-pointers in this last game. Like, they're... OKC is basically trying to play a game that they can't. And right now, I saw this stat and I was flabbergasted. I talked about Seth Curry being plus 30 in the last series. Yep. Chris Paul was minus 36 when he was on the court. Their best player at minus 36. I mean, that's the highest I've ever seen a plus minus at. It comes from your best player. You cannot win that way. I do think they'll turn it around and win a couple games this series. I do kind of question my Rockets in 7 pick. I think it might be quicker than that, but I do think I don't see a sweep coming. But it could be more like a 5 or 6 game series coming out of this one. Especially, but if Russell Westbrook comes back, I don't think they lose once they get Westbrook back. So I don't know the status on him. I didn't look into that ahead of time. I probably should have, but
I don't think they've said anything else besides he's still questionable because it's a right strained quad. I mean, he's on the bench looking like he's hyped all the time, and he might just be sitting out this series. Honestly, I don't know. But
why rush him back if you're up 2-0? Yeah, like he's not going to play. Yeah. He's not going to play until they lose a game, maybe 2. So yeah, if they win this game in 5, or if they win the series in 5 series, you're not going to see. You know, if it's a 3-1 game, you're not going to see Russell Westbrook coming back for a game 5. You may see him in a game 6, but even then, they may just ride with it and say, "All right, we'll bring it back game 7 if we really need you." Like if it gets to that point.
That might be way worse actually if they bring him back for 1 game, because now you're incrementing a 27 points per game with like what does he play, probably 30 to 35 minutes. Like if your team is gelling like that, and then you put like less minutes on people that have been playing typically more minutes. I don't know if that really helps.
Well, if it's a game 7, would you say your team's gelling? I mean, because that means they would be down this 3-1 in a series last 4 games, so they're not gelling anymore.
they get to game 6, I'm playing him. I'm not letting him sit out game 6 because game 6 can be a tune-up game. They lose that. Okay, now we go to game 7. Now he's got a game under his belt rather than he hasn't played in how long? 3 weeks?
There's definitely an argument for that. I did say that it's possible to see him in game 6, but as I said, you may wait until game 7 thinking we can still handle this Thunders team without him and let him get as much rest as possible before the next series because they will need him going forward after this series. Going against the Lakers next. That's or the Trailblazers. Either one of those, they're going to want
the Lakers,
Yeah, they're either one of those, they're going to want Westbrook. So save him for that next series, especially if they can get away with this. That is the update on the Rockets Thunder. Now we got KP's jersey. Why are you wearing that jersey over there, KP?
All right, so look, I said that the Nuggets are going to sweep. I was wrong. But I still got faith in the Nuggets, so I'm wearing the Nuggets jersey because I think they're going to win in 5 now instead of 4, and here's why.
Okay.
The Jazz, last game, literally blew their own minds. They have no way of copying these stats. 52% from the field.
Okay.
46% from 3. 82% from the line. This is as a team. As a team. They were almost in the 50-40-90 club as a team for a game. That is remarkable. That is insane numbers. Like there's no way they can copy that. And Donovan Mitchell, the first game, had 57, the third highest scoring in a playoff series, as whatever.
And if you take away some of these other stats, you got I don't even know who this Brantley character is. They brought him in because they were blowing him out. He went 0 for 3, 0 for 2 from three-point land. So that brings your percentages up. Oni, I don't know who this Oni guy is. He went 1 for 3 from the field and 0 for 2 from three-point land. This is over a 50% shooting from three-point land from their actual starters.
At one point in the third quarter, it was 57% from the field, 57% from 3. That is dumb. That is stupid numbers. Okay, like if they replicate that, then I deserve to eat every single word I ever say again because like that's ridiculous. Like these numbers are just not going to happen again. I can't see it. If it happens again, they should win the title. They should. Like you can't lose shooting 52, 46, and 82%. You just can't. You can't lose.
That's fair. But I had this series going in 6, and they just won this game without Mike Conley, who's on schedule to come back in Game 3 after leaving for the birth of his child. That's what he left for. And now he has passed all his tests. As long as he continues to pass his tests, he will play in the next game. This is going to be another dogfight. Denver is on notice now, okay? I do like Denver. I think Denver will win this series. So I'm not off Denver by any means because I had them in 6. I knew the Jazz were going to win some games. I know Jazz are a really, really good team. Yes, I agree with you. They're not a 52, 46, and 83 team, but they are a really good team. Good defensively. Obviously, they have Gobert. So Donovan Mitchell, though, we have to bring this up. 87 points in the first 2 games of this series. He scored 57 points in Game 1 in a tough loss. Donovan Mitchell is also another reason why they're going to at least win another one of these games. He is going berserk this series. And, of course, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley coming back. So I like them to win another game. I still like my pick. This is one of the more comfortable picks I have right now in the playoffs, I think. I have this one spot on. Denver in 6, and that'll be really good. Do you have anything else to bring up on this one?
The only thing I was going to say is I don't think Gobert is a great matchup for Jokic. I think Jokic is tearing him up. I mean, he did score last game. I think 19 points is a little outside the norm for Gobert. But defensively, like the blocks and things, I don't think he's getting as many hands on balls. He's not really irritating Jokic as much. I think Jokic is going to come back. What did Jokic have last time? Jokic had 28 points and 11 rebounds. So, like, he's neutralizing Gobert's defensive prowess when he's on the court, I think. And that'll change. Like, Michael Porter Jr. just got to keep playing how he's playing. He had 28 points last game, too. So, I like the Nuggets still. I'm going to say Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
I'm changing.
Okay. He had 29 the game before and 28 this last game. Jokic did.
Yep.
And also that game one went to overtime. It was 135-125. So, yeah, Utah's a really good team. This is gonna be tough for Denver, but yeah, Jokic is just so good. So I do still like Denver in 6. Next up, we got the Celtics versus 76ers. Something else was a little off at KB's prediction. What do we got over here?
Oh man. Well, I said Celtics 4-1. Okay.
Okay.
So I said Celtics in 5. So they're on track. I mean,
I thought you had I thought you had it worse for some reason, but no. Okay, we're on the same page
no.
then. We're on the same page.
Yeah. I said that they could win one, but I don't. I mean, it's just so tough. So Jason Tatum. Let me tell you a little story about Jason. Jason Tatum is from St. Louis, right?
Okay.
He played at a school in St. Louis, and he played against his dad's team in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because his dad coached a separate high school team in St. Louis. He's been bringing it like he's back in St. Louis, like he's representing his hometown. Like this dude is ridiculous. He's a man amongst boys. One of the announcers, which I didn't agree with, said, the Sixers are missing Ben Simmons because he's the best defender in the league. Okay, I don't believe that. I believe he's the best defender on the Sixers. Sure, I'll give him that. Whatever. He's long. He's athletic. He's can guard 1 through 4, 1 through 5, obviously with his body. But they need him to guard Tatum because Tatum is going 32 and a half, 9 rebounds and 3 assists a game, and there's no slowing down. And Jaylen Brown as your number 2.
And that 32 and a half is 32 and 33.
Right.
Like it's not like a 45 and a 20 or something like that. This is he's right there.
Jaylen Brown's going off too as the second star on this team. Like,
well, he's the third.
Gordon Hayward, huh?
With Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker would be your second star, right?
Okay, sure, but like
okay,
as far as that position goes. Anyway, like Gordon Hayward's not in the conversation right now. Their big men don't really matter right now. Like those two players are taking this game over because they are a problem offensively, and defensively they're long and athletic. Now Embiid is doing everything in his power to finish this game up, to try and win these series games, but they're getting blown out, right? He's averaging more than, I think, 30 points a game. Maybe he's right at 30 points a game, Embiid is. And, he's averaging double-digit rebounds, but he has no help really offensively as far as consistently.
Yeah, he's averaging 30 points a game.
Yeah, and he has no help defensively to stop Tatum. I mean, it's tough. The Sixers are in trouble, man. They're in big trouble.
Yep, I'm right there with the Celtics are just way too good for the Sixers without Ben Simmons. I had this in 5. You had this in 5. I think we're right there. That there's really nothing more to discuss as far as they have nobody that can stop Tatum. This team is. But the one thing I didn't notice, or I didn't know, what happened to Hayward?
He sprained his ankle, grade 3 sprain.
Oh, so he's out.
The first game. Well, they said, okay, so remember when we talked about Sabrina Ionescu?
Yeah. And
how she was done for the season? I'm wondering if it's because the WNBA season was just shorter, because they're saying Hayward could come back by the conference finals, I think. Like, it's only like a 6-week injury or 7-week injury, apparently, for Hayward. I don't know. I wonder if there's, like he said a grade 3, but I don't know if it's, messed up somehow. Okay. I don't know. But
okay.
I would be surprised if he comes back, because I think it's the same ankle he destroyed.
Fair enough. Yeah, even without Gordon Hayward, they will win this series easily. But that does make a big difference going forward. I mean, they still have a good squad. They're still really coached well. They still have Tatum, Brown, Kemba. They have a fine team to continue on, but Gordon Hayward is still a nice piece for them. That's going to hurt if that's going to continue to the next series. And next series they would be playing the Raptors, and you want to be at full. Yeah, you want to be at full go against a Raptors team. So that's going to be an interesting next series. But okay, yeah, I'm right there with you. For some reason, I thought you had the Sixers winning more when you said that you were off on this one. I mean,
I think I did mention. I said they could win 2, but I'm gonna have them in 5.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I have it crossed off here.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I have right there in 5. This could be a sweep though, because the Celtics are just clearly a class above.
They're balling, yeah.
Next, we got the Heat versus Pacers, and somebody may have been a little off on this one.
Yeah.
Now I'm not wrong about this one. So right now, I'm sitting pretty. I had the Heat in 5, and the Heat are just right now too much in my opinion for the Pacers. They've been that way all season. Before the bubble, they played 3 times. The Heat won all 3 times. The Pacers only beat them in the last game of the season because everybody was resting for the playoffs. They just don't have anybody on the class of Jimmy Butler, but both of these teams are spreading the ball around. I mean, all 5 of the Pacers starters scored double digits. All 5 players, not all starters, but 5 players for the Heat scored double-digit points. Like, nobody's really going off in this series, and I just think the Heat outclass them. And then you have Duncan Robinson scoring 24 points, but having 7 3-pointers in one game. You think the rest were free throws. He does not shoot inside the arc for this.
He doesn't. I think he was the leader in 3-point attempts and 3-pointers made this year also, so that's not really a surprise. But 7 threes in a game is a surprise. That's a lot of threes.
Mm-hmm. He was the leading scorer in the entire game at 24.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like here's the thing: is like T.J. Warren, you need to go off like you were in the bubble because your team needs you. Obviously, with Victor Oladipo coming back, like he's gonna be missing those touches and things. Like, but I think he's letting Jimmy Butler get in his head way too much.
He's 0 for 5. He went 0 for 5 last game for 3.
Yeah, like that's all mental. This dude is a baller, but he's not playing up to his potential at all. I will say though, I have the Heat in 6. I still think that's possible. Now I'm not saying that they're going to win 2 in a row or anything like that, but I think they could win the next one, lose the 3rd or the 4th game, win the 5th game, then lose the 6th game. Like that's definitely possible. Like go 2-2 the next 4 games. And the reason why is because like the scores are getting a little closer. Heat won by 12 the first time. Heat won by 9 the second time. I think Indiana is just a couple possessions away from really opening up this series a little bit, maybe forcing 2-1 and then seeing how it goes. Now, obviously, without Domantas Sabonis, that's a huge hit because he never even came down to the bubble. Obviously, with him in there, it's a way different series. But regardless, that's past now. So I don't know. I'm confident in 6, but they got to make a move this next game, otherwise it's going to be a sweep. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see them maybe. I had the Heat in 5. So they may steal one game if Warren does finally decide to go off and take a game. But no, I just think the Heat outclassed this team way too much. Bam only had 7 points. I mean, he didn't even go off. Yeah. He was actually one starter not to get double digits, and they still win this game by 9. So that could easily change with Bam getting more touches in the inside. But Robinson's probably not going to score 7 3-pointers again. But even if he scores 4 or 5, I mean, that's still enough. And then Jimmy Butler only had 18. He was shooting 5 from 13 from the field, so he didn't go necessarily crazy. So the Heat have honestly, a lot more.
Like, poor Oladipo for like getting poked in the eye, having like all that issue. Like his eye was so messed. It was disgusting to look at. And then coming back and scoring, what do you have, 22 in that game? I mean, that was ridiculous. And he's just getting like no help from people on his team. He needs more help than that. Like T.J. Warren, you need to find your shot like ASAP,
bro. Agreed. Wow, the freaking Heat shot 51% from 3-point land last game. 18 for 35.
Well, when you have one dude hitting 7, I mean that helps. What he shoot by himself?
7 for 8.
Right, like that's 88% right there. That's not.
Everybody but one, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that shot a 3 made a 3. 2 for 3, 2 for 6, 2 for 4, 7 for 8, 1 for 3, 1 for 2, 3 for 8.
And the converse, you have the Pacers shooting 35% from 3. Mm-hmm. Not helping your case, and only 44% from the field. Obviously,
their stars were 0-5 and 4-11, so 4 out of 16 from your stars. Yeah, Oladipo and T.J. Warren. Yeah, that's that ain't cutting it for sure. So yeah, no, I'm still feeling good about that one. The last 2 series to talk about are not really anything special. You have the Bucks Magic. Yeah, we already talked about the horrible loss the first game. They came back tonight and destroyed the Magic, and that is expected to continue. And the Nets are just no match for the Raptors. Do you have anything to say about those series?
I mean, just the Nets have a weaker coach, and they're not as disciplined on offense or defense. I mean, the Raptors are gonna sweep this. They're gonna rest. They're gonna watch the Heat Pacers. Or no, sorry, they're gonna watch the Celtics 76ers, and they're gonna game plan and try to stop or slow down Tatum. And I mean, that'll be that. I'm looking forward to that second round matchup, Raptors Celtics, because that'll be interesting for sure. But I don't think they're even worried about the Nets.
Hopefully, the Celtics series does end in 4, and then you have both teams well rested for a nice game. Divisional round series, second round. That's what I was trying to say. Second round series between the Raptors and Celtics. I agree that is going to be the one to watch. And then the Bucks Heat will be an interesting one as well. That'll be fun to talk about.
Definitely some interesting matchups in that one with Bam Adebayo guarding Giannis and Jimmy Butler probably switching off on him a couple times. Like that'll be fun to watch too. I think.
Yeah, pretty much all these Western Conference series, I guess, except for the Rockets Thunder, anything could change. But yeah, you have some very interesting matchups in the West. You have no clue who's coming out for sure at this point. It's so early, but you have no clue who's coming out of the West for that second round. It's every team has a chance to win their series. It's crazy right now in the West. Because Portland, we were talking about that off screen. I mean, Portland should be the 4 seed. They should be the Thunder right now. Thunder is looking much more like an 8 seed team than the Portland Trailblazers look like an 8 seed. They should be the 4 or 5 series, the 4 or 5 game spot instead of this 8th seed, and it's because of all the moves they made in the during the season, that got them to be a much better team. The game of the Lakers, and I'll just give a quick update of as of this show. We have the Lakers Portland Trailblazers going on right now.
6-6.
It's 6-6 in the first. We're gonna get off here. That was our updates here. So we're gonna go ahead and get off and go watch this game. Let us know what you think about anything that you think down in the comments, and we will see you next time. Sit.
Bye.